My project is on my trip to Athens, Greece. We got around Athens using public transportation, especially the metros. Sometimes we would use the taxis, but the metros were actually incredibly easy to use, and they got you places a lot faster than the taxis. They had so many stops. We climbed up Philippopoulos Hill. Well, we took a taxi up most of the way up Philippopoulos Hill and climbed 5 minutes, which was incredibly difficult, especially first getting there. We were not used to how many uphills and climbing there was. From here, we could see the Acropolis at night. It was beautiful. The pictures do not do any justice to it. Outside of Syntagma Square, we saw Hadrian's Library. We were not able to go in, but that is a part of it. And all over the city, we are walking on top of ruins. We are literally walking on top of history all over the city. At first, I thought that Hadrian's Library looked very small, but a lot of the ruins that were far away from the library were a part of Hadrian's Library. So it's actually enormous. We finally went to the Acropolis, and the Parthenon was so gigantic. I cannot believe the size of these sculptures and these structures. Uh, Most of it is replicas, and it is currently being restored. But on these pillars, there are signatures of people that helped build the Parthenon. There are these ones right here. That was so crazy to see these old signatures from people. We were really surprised to step out of the Acropolis metro station and find these statues that were actually a part of the Parthenon. They were key sculptures that were a part of the Parthenon's eastern pediment. It is crazy to me that these are actually built into the architecture and to see the size and how much detail is in them. Personally speaking, my house is a new build, and there is no way at all that they would be able to hold anything remotely the size of the foot at the beginning of this video on the wall. And these architectures were able to hold these enormous statues. This is just a one piece of the bottom half of a statue. One thing about the Greek culture that is actually true is that they are on Greece time. No one is in a rush at all. They do not rush you to eat or to shop. We had to ask for our check many times because we had been there a while, and they were not bothered. They would just keep bringing us drinks and helping us. At one store, actually, my husband was not able to decide on a painting, and the store owner said that they were closing at a certain time, so we could come back for him at that time. All over the squares, Montesquieu Square and Syntagma Square, there were performers, and from all over the square, you could look up and see the Acropolis. For the Greeks, there are no problems. We were stressed out about little things sometimes, and they would literally look at us and say, "There's no problem. Nothing is a problem." It was really refreshing. I really felt like I was on a vacation because things were open so late as well. The restaurants were open until 3 a.m., and they would open early for coffee. Most of the Greeks spoke English. We practiced a few phrases before we went, like yesas, hello, kalimara, good morning, good afternoon, and we didn't even need them. They really did like when we would say them, but they were especially excited when we told them that we spoke Spanish. Sometimes we told them that we were from Mexico, and they would get really excited and tell us about the telenovelas that they love from Mexico and that they love Thalia. One of the telenovelas from Mexico is actually popular in Greece right now, which was fun to learn about. The Greek culture reminded me a lot of Mexico. They were very friendly, they were on their own time, and the neighborhoods actually reminded me of Mexico a little bit too. Athens is not the nicest, but it is a very ancient city, and apparently we stayed in an area that was not very nice. They asked us why we stayed there, but we really, really enjoyed our stay in our apartment, and they even brought the flea markets a few days after we were staying there. There was flea markets set up outside for 3 or 4 days, so we got to go down and shop after walking around the town. We stopped by Athens National Garden, which had this gigantic goose or duck, I'm not sure, and then these other ducks that kind of had turkey faces. but it was so pretty. It was in the middle of the city and you just felt like you were not in the city anymore. And there were so many people in the middle of the day on Mondays and Tuesdays just hanging out, walking and talking. I truly fell in love with Athens, and I feel like there is no way that I can do it justice through videos and pictures. And I am so excited to return again and go through the museums and get guided tours.